Good evening, I'm Eric Gray, and this is Unexplained. Was there a UFO over Red Rocks Amphitheater in Golden, Colorado? Tonight, I have a UFO report from the National UFO Reporting Center from June 5th of 2024. The report reads as follows. On June 5th, 2024, there was 12 people in Golden, Colorado at the Red Rocks Amphitheater. They were presumably roadies there. They were loading equipment and moving equipment around at the time of this sighting. Now, that's not in this report, but it is in a news story, a news article that was brought out after this report came out. And this person was tracked down and interviewed for a little bit more information. So that is where we get that information. Now, the location of this sighting, the object was north of the Red Rocks Amphitheater, about a mile or so, hovering above the treetops on what's called the Hog's Back Ridge. I'm guessing that's one of the Red Rocks sections out there called the Hog's Back Ridge. The object was a disc, was metallic. It was also advised that it was matte black, and it kind of blended in with the sky. It was estimated to be several hundred feet long, and it was viewed from the ground, and they were looking north from Red Rocks. And they feel that it was probably about a mile or so away. So if you could imagine about a mile or so away, a few hundred feet long, it probably wasn't gigantic, but it was definitely visible and something strange, it seems like here. They advised it hovered in place and then moved away at about 5 to 10 miles per hour east before dissolving. And it did have lights on it. So let's read the actual report here and see what they say. We saw a large dish-shaped craft with 3 levels of windows. It hovered silently and then disappeared into thin air. I was working at Red Rocks Amphitheater last night when one of our co-workers suddenly said to us, "Hey, what is that over there?" It looks like a spaceship. We all turned to look in the direction he was pointing, and sure enough, there was a UFO hovering about a half a mile to a mile north of Red Rocks. A dozen of us saw it. We all kept asking each other, "Are you seeing this too?" It was a resounding yes from everyone in the group. What we saw was the classic disc-shaped metallic craft that was several hundred yards long. It had 3 levels of windows, almost like really long 3-story office building. This thing was totally silent. It didn't make a sound. What's even crazier is that as soon as we all started noticing it and stopped what we were doing to pay attention to it, the craft tipped at an angle and slowly started moving belly first to the east. Then it started fading away until it was invisible. It didn't shoot off into the distance, it simply dissolved into the ether. We all watched it vanish. This was not a plane. It wasn't a satellite, a drone, or anything like that. There was no mistaking what we saw. We all saw a gigantic disc-shaped craft hovering a few hundred feet above the ground with 3 rows of windows and lights. Then we all saw it fade into nothing as soon as it knew it was being watched. There were a dozen of other people who saw it with me. Now he says in here, then we all saw it fade into nothing as soon as it knew it was being watched. So there is a little bit more information about that in the report from the Denver Gazette. Reporter Spencer McKee was able to track down the original person who made this report after this story sort of became viral. His name was Michael Lehman, and he advised that one of the members in the group had shined a flashlight towards the UFO, and when they did that, that's whenever it seemed to notice them, and it seemed to then tilt and move slightly, but then just dissolve into the ether, as he said. So that gives us a little bit more interest what he meant by as soon as it knew it was being watched. So they actually shined a flashlight at it. Certainly a interesting story coming out of Colorado, and we'll look for more of this information on this one, if there is any. But currently that's all we have. Thank you for tuning in For our first video on this channel, we will bring you UFO and paranormal news, as well as short documentaries on some of the most famous sightings and encounters in history. I have been your host, Eric Gray, signing off from the Unexplained Studio. Good night, and stay cozy, friends.